Gavin. How are you, brother? What's been happening for you today?
Today's just been, more of soaking in the apartment. I picked up a whiteboard so I can start having some physical reminders of what I'm. Recently, I've been, as we discussed, kind of recently, like seeing things on a much longer time horizon. So, getting this whiteboard as to have something like in my physical that I don't have to like store in my mind and remember. Um, that's what I'm gonna start. I guess like a 50-year plan, or maybe longer. Just start getting into that kind of thing.
That's uh that's a long time, man. 50 years. So what's recently been happening for you to feel like that's important?
Um, well, I mean, recently I've done I've done mushrooms twice, and that is really man, that's really shown a light on just um, well, when I'm in those experiences, I can see what feels like deep into the what can happen in a long time, and it feels like I need something to ground me with you know um, with the whiteboard and whatnot. Just I need to start um, I guess creating like action steps.
Yeah. So what were those shroom trips like for you on SR? What
Um,
drove you to take some shrooms? What were you looking for?
mm, I was looking for I guess access into my unconscious. Really, like I was looking for that fluid state where things are more malleable, and um, when you make a decision, it can I guess rather than like what I normally do is which make very slow changes, like um, like just like a little bit of effort every single day. Like when I when I do the mushrooms, like I don't know if everybody else has the same experience, but it allows me to shift into like a new reality. It seems quicker. So that's how I've been leveraging them. So it's just making decisions really.
So what did you realize in these last couple of trips?
Just I think the main one is diet, right? It's the more I've been diving into it, I can just feel that what I really realize is I need to source my own food. Like I mean, I guess in the immediate future, it's finding someone I trust to like get eggs that are um, I guess uh, more as natural as I can manage, and meat as natural as I can manage. But ultimately, it's I need to I guess I don't know how you'd phrase it. Like I need to curate these things myself. Like I basically need to start being a farmer and stuff. Like for my sake, but like honestly for like my future family and the brotherhood. Like this is going to be we're in it for the long haul. So we need to we need to source this stuff.
Yeah. So what specific diet changes did you start to feel you needed to implement?
Raw meat, raw beef specifically. Just I the the raw beef is it's really interesting because basically everything else that's processed that I eat, right? Immediately I start to notice like this mucus. It's like I basically like spit it out because it's kind of it's almost choking me. That's what it feels like. It's just like a nuisance. And ever since I've been doing the mushrooms recently, it's like been more and more apparent that like no matter what I eat, it's just like overwhelming at this point. Um, but when I eat like raw beef, while it's not the most, it's not like a massive, like dopamine hit or whatever with flavor and all that. I mean, it still tastes good, but when I eat it, it's like my teeth feel clean. There's no mucus. And my like it doesn't take very much for me to feel like energy for a long time. So it's clear that that's the transition that I need to solidify.
So you've been eating raw beef how long now?
Um, with I tried it once. I tried like ground beef, probably 2 months ago, and I don't know, I felt kind of weird about it. But recently, within the last 3 weeks, I've been really upping the frequency of the raw beef. I just add like a little salt, and um, it's not every day, but it's a couple times a week at this point.
How do you feel that's been affecting you?
It's really, I say mainly at the moment, it's like just breaking. Like, I mean, I have more energy. I have, and I can. Um, there's less of a burden because of that. Like the mucus that I feel is like it's kind of distracting. It's like, I don't know, it just kind of clouds my thoughts. And I noticed like on the mushrooms, I was like, this. It's almost like a mind control mucus, right? Like I mean the food that processed food is literally like it influences your thoughts, and when you eat the raw beef or just raw meat and the eggs, you literally start to think about food less. You just free yourself up for so much more. Like you can focus on what you need to be focusing on.
Yeah, it's a clean fuel.
That is, yeah, definitely very clean. The teeth thing is kind of, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. Like when you actually like chew into it, like after eating, it's like my mouth feels. It's like I just brushed my teeth. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah. Now you had another experience with the shrooms where you started feeling like extremely. I forget how you said it, but you started feeling like extremely horny or extremely like
Yeah,
powerful in your masculine energy,
yeah,
and and you even felt like you could just approach this woman, this attractive woman who was close by, and you
yeah,
just knew that she was yours.
yeah. With
Can
no
you
words,
tell
by the way.
with what?
With no words. Like I could
Yeah,
just
with no words, like
put,
full
put my hand out
telepathic.
and we could just go right to
Yeah,
it.
just reach out your hand and take the fruit,
Yeah,
like hand of God.
yeah,
So,
literally.
so what's interesting to me is that this was already inside you, but the mushrooms brought it to the surface.
Yeah,
Could you tell us a bit more about that?
yeah. And so I was before that specific event happened. I was laying in the closet because that was the darkest spot I could find, and that was the first time that the like this like I was prompted with a choice about the mucus, right? Like that were really about the food. Like I I can either sit here and I know I can just like sit with this feeling and it's gonna go away, or I can get up and I can go to the bathroom and I can reject this stuff that I've been putting in my body. And I just, after a little bit of like, well, I don't really want to vomit right now, but I decided to get up, and it just everything came out with like, I don't know, like, like, I don't know. I've thrown up a lot in my life from like drinking and whatnot. This came out like with a with a force, like it was clear that like, okay, I've made a decision here. And when I stood back up, it was just like, I don't even, I don't know if horniness is the right, like, I don't even know that I was hard, like it was just like I knew I could. I felt like I was ready to make. a change in my reality like immediately, like, and that's, I guess that was like the most, I guess, like that's an area of struggle in my life. So it felt like that was the best opportunity to prove that, like, I can literally shift my reality right now.
You mean approaching attractive women is a area of struggle?
Yeah, well, and also like just, I guess, initiating, like taking charge, like, and I think you phrased it before, like just taking her, like doing that. So like it felt like, I mean, that's just an area of fear, that, fear of rejection kind of thing. And in that moment, I was just filled with this, like, I know for a fact I can go do this.
Mm. It's interesting because we've been talking a lot about letting go of the blockages to your full power as a man, your full sexual potency. We've been talking about that in the last couple of videos. And what I'm starting to realize more and more is that as men, we've been so deeply programmed, we've been so deeply chained up, our power has been so deeply suppressed that we don't even realize we have it. And we approach women from this place of like being deeply suppressed, and then trying to like do game on women and trying to like impress them with this, that, or the other. But the whole time we've still unconsciously forced down all of our power, and we're like trying to attract women from that place. And it's honestly just a losing game, like, because we're not coming from our full power, we're not coming from our full truth. And I've had that experience on psychedelics before, where suddenly the psychedelic, this is what I heard David Hawkins talk about. He said, when we take drugs, it's like we momentarily block out all the lower frequencies, or we push to the side all the lower frequencies, and our true self is able to shine temporarily through completely. But then when we stop being high, all the lower frequencies come back, and it's like we're still our old self. We haven't actually released those things. We just temporarily push them to the side. So I experienced that many times on psychedelics, like just feeling so fucking powerful, like feeling like my full power as a man, and just knowing I could take any woman I wanted, regardless of how I looked at that time, regardless of how much money I had. It was just my full masculine power. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find it really interesting that you had that experience, bro. And I'm wondering if you have any ideas on how we can begin to bring that out, truly bring that out, because it's in all of us. It's just buried under there, under, a lot of conditioning and suppressed emotions and that kind of stuff.
I assume you mean without the psychedelics.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the area where I need to, I guess the next step is like really getting into the breath work, and being more connected with the earth. Because when I when I had that urge, I mean, it was still kind of, um, I don't know, it was still scary. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. So
Yeah.
I sort of like, I channeled the Brotherhood's energy, and I realized that I can go to the earth right now. I can go put my skin on the earth and breathe this out. And that was, I mean, that was arguably, that was definitely the right decision in that moment, because I really just, I don't know, that was the first time I ever realized, like, I can, anytime that you were feeling uncertain or anything, you can, or an overwhelm of energy, you can go plant that in the earth, and it can handle everything that you've got,
Mm.
and that was, so I think breath work is, um I mean, there's plenty of breath works that take you to that place. That's an area I need to explore next.
Yeah, because did you feel like I'm just going to clean up some trash here. I'm just getting over these little trolls. did you did you feel like when you stopped tripping that all of that maybe blockage around women came back or whatever that was for you? Or did you remain feeling like you could just go up and take any woman you wanted?
Um, certainly a portion of it came back. Definitely. I mean, I don't think all of it left because obviously I didn't go downstairs and you know do that. Um, but I feel like every time that I do the psychedelics, it's like while most of that blockage goes away or all of it, like less of it comes back.
Yeah.
And I do think um, I mean, I did introduce myself to this girl, so it's and I mean, there was energy around it. It was like uncomfortable, but I still did it. So, we're yeah,
Yeah. So the breath work, that's a key. The letting go, that's the key. Letting go of this programming, letting go of these blockages, letting go of this self-sabotage program of the ego telling you that you're not enough or you need more of this or more of that before you can be, you know, fully potent as a man, fully attractive to be able to pull the kind of woman you want. You've been exploring letting go lately. You've been reading David Hawkins' book, listening to the book. What has that experience been like for you? I mean, it must be over a month or about a month now. And what has changed in you over the past month of practicing God mode SR, but also practicing letting go on a deep level? What's shifted for you?
um, I think there's just a lot more awareness of what like reading the book has opened my awareness to like it's almost like there were a lot of blind spots to what can be let go. Like that there was even like this was an area that I could apply this technique to. So reading the book, it was just it just I mean it makes it so plain, like each level of I guess emotion that we can let go of, and you can dive back and into the chapters and be like, oh, just focus on this chapter for right now and just sit with it. And so it actually all just comes back to the breath work because that's how I'm doing the let it go is just feeling it and breathing through it, and it's I mean it's really just bringing more clarity and at the same time everything's just I don't know just kind of slowing down, which is like my mind is slowing down, which is really nice, less overthinking.
What have been some of the biggest things that you've been able to let go of?
Mm, um, I think I don't know that I've completely resolved anything. I'm kind of like spending some time here and there, and I think that with the approaching women and the diet are two areas that is I've seen dramatic improvement. Like I've lost some weight already, and really that's nothing has changed other than I'm letting go. I mean, like I guess things have changed, but it's like I'm not forcing the changes. They just kind of they're falling into place.
Yeah. So, what about your SR journey? Because you must be on around 40 days now,
Yeah.
getting close, and you're practicing God mode, so letting go of lust. What have you seen change in yourself over these last 40 days compared to who you were a couple of months ago?
I've seen the fantasies sort of evaporate. Like I feel like I don't know. I can look at women and there's just like there's not much happening there. Like I'll notice that whether they're attractive or not, but not it doesn't immediately start being like, oh, she's attractive. I want to do whatever. It's just like I might want to go talk to her, or I might just keep on with what I'm doing. It's really like it's. I feel it's moved into the unconscious where it's no longer I'm having to think about it so much.
Were you looking at porn before?
Oh yeah, yeah, for like 17 years.
What, like daily?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so you were looking at porn, jerking off, fantasizing, just getting caught up in lust whenever you'd see beautiful women. So, how has the letting go of all of that, like the removing of all of that from your life, how has that changed you? How has it changed your relationship with yourself, your energy levels, your self respect, stuff like that?
Oh, I think the one of the most major changes that actually just happened yesterday is that I actually feel like I have the desire to live. Like before before I would if I asked myself the question why should I wake up? Why should I get out of bed? Like I didn't really have an answer. It was just like I guess like the only reason I would ever get up is like, oh, I have work or I'm hungry. Like there's not much there wasn't like a reason, but now I can see like the long game, I guess. I don't know, I love myself. That's it's a pretty big change from before.
Yeah. Did you not really love yourself before? Did you feel
Um,
some maybe some despite like resentment for yourself or anything like that, or you just didn't really care about yourself?
yeah, I think it was more like I just didn't really like I wasn't making choices for myself for like the betterment of myself. So like I guess like love in that way where you know you're wishing for the good of other people. I didn't really wish for the good of myself, and like I might say it, but like my actions didn't show it.
Yeah. Just kind of drifting.
Yeah, literally just drifting.
But now you've actually got a vision of what you want.
Yeah, and it's pretty clear. Like I mean, I have no idea what the timeline is, but it's I know where I'm headed. I think until
What is
something
that?
else. I think it's like producing food for myself and for others. I mean, there's some other like hobbies that I'd like to entertain, but it's really I think that's the long game.
Yeah. Being a farmer.
Yeah, I'm thinking like cattle.
Yeah. Just eating them raw when you're ready to eat them.
Exactly.
Just taking a big bite out of them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna do the whole process. When it's time for them to go, that's gonna be me. You gotta do what you
Mm.
gotta do.
Well, dude, the Maasai people, they just drink the blood out of their cows while they're still alive. They just like make a little cut and just have a little sip. And
I mean, if it
those guys,
works,
yeah, those guys are badass, man. They're all over 6 foot and they're just lean, athletic, muscular beasts. So anyway, talk to me a bit more about your views on consciousness because you're pretty tapped in with that stuff. Like, what are we, Gavin? what are we? What are we all, and what are we doing here?
I will. When you say consciousness, that's what I believe is like the fundamental. Like that's everything. Kind of stems from it. So when you say we, I think of consciousness as like that's what witnesses life.
Yeah,
So all of the things that we can do and experience is just a reflection.
Yeah. I finally just got tired of the vegan comments. I love Jim. He posts on a lot of my videos in capital letters about veganism, but I'm sorry, bro. I just got to let you go.
So it wasn't the flat Earth part, but
Yeah. So sorry. Please continue. We are consciousness experiencing itself.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's what I feel. And as as the more you come to like unconsciously understand this, you can start bending reality. Like through visualization, but not just like the visualization's only like the first step because it's really about the knowing. It's like or remembering. It's not really a knowing.
Yeah.
And yeah, then when you truly know, like the actions, like it's like you're magnetized to it. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like you can't help yourself, but like just go do what it takes.
Mm. So that knowing, that remembering, what do you do day to day? Like, what are your practices for coming back to that, transmuting the sexual energy? Because you've got all this extra sexual energy now that
Yeah.
you're not fapping and lusting and looking at porn. And what are you doing with that energy, Gavin? I mean, you mentioned the breath work, the grounding, letting go. But what other ways is that energy being expressed in your life?
Through conscious choice of vocabulary. Like I something I say all the time, no matter what it is about to do, is that it's going to be easy and it's going to be effortless. And like I started about a year ago, I started driving a truck. I'd never done that before. Before I went, I had about 2 weeks to just kind of like wait for the class to start. And I was just constantly talking to myself about how easy it is going to be, how good I'm going to be at it, even though I'd never done it. And by the time I got there, dude, I swear it was like magic. I literally was like, after the first couple hours behind the wheel, it was like I feel like I'm ready. Even the instructors were like kind of like, they were like, I guess you can get more seat time, but the other people need it more than you, kind of thing. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but like, it's just like how you can, a- as you step into that like unconscious knowing that I am consciousness itself, and I everything stems from me. Like you get to pick. I mean, the only requirement is that you actually want the thing. Like you can't, like that's a key to that. But as soon as you know, you just speak as if it's going to happen, and then you just do the actions. It does happen. It
Mm.
might not be as strong as when you're on like a psychedelic or something, but that can be over time. It will get stronger. The more you do it, the easier it gets.
The more you speak to yourself, those affirmations, those words of belief, of knowing, it gets easier and easier.
It does. I mean, I feel like I've been um, you know, I guess saying those things for. I feel like I grasped that concept about like 4 years ago, and
Power of
yeah,
words.
yeah, just like how powerful the words are, like especially when you use like assumptive language. Like that things are going to happen the way you want. And at first, like I mean, I guess I started when I was like 23, so that's 23 years of poisoning myself with words that I had to like I'm working through. But like it is the momentum once you're like if I hadn't started doing that, I would still be under the magnetic force of those other stories. And now the newer stories, it's pulling me I don't even, fully comprehend where it's going to take me at this point.
Mm. Yeah, the words have been an interesting journey for me, learning more about the power of words or remembering about the power of words. Because it says in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth through words. He said, "Let there be light." So I'm more and more tapping into this energy signature that words carry, that vibration, that sound vibration carries. Like when you speak, you are casting an energetic blueprint, a three-dimensional energetic blueprint into the hologram, which is affecting the hologram, which is shifting the vibrational structure of the entire hologram. And yeah, realizing more and more that sounds are sigils, sounds are vibrational sigils. A sigil is a symbol that can be planted in people's field of vision that has an actual effect on their mind, right? And that's why we see so many of these sigils and symbols in popular culture to do with the all-seeing eye and the pyramid, because unconsciously we're being programmed. It's being reinforced that we live in a pyramid atop which sits an all-seeing eye, which we are controlled by, or which we are watched by, which further subconsciously instills this fear that we have to conform. So these sigils, these symbols are everywhere. And the more we sort of wake up to them, the more we can begin to, the more they lose their power over us. When we start seeing them everywhere, we start noticing, oh, that's another visual spell. And then we start to realize, oh, the spells are also vibrational, not just visual. So the words we use are spells, words. You look at the spelling of words, swords. Words are swords that cut through, that change the fabric of reality. There's this guy on YouTube who many of you've probably seen who talks about this. He says, in kindergarten, in early school, when we're learning how to spell, cast spells, we learn the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. So we're being imprinted with this idea from a young age, I owe you, I owe you. So we're
Yeah.
being imprinted with slave mentality from the earliest age of starting school. Like that's the first thing we learn to spell, is that I owe you. By
Wow.
default, I owe you. So I'm here on rented, like I'm basically renting my existence off of a authority structure. I don't actually have any right to be here. I owe my existence to the pyramid.
Wow.
And then it's like we're going through the days. In a daze, we're hypnotized. We're in a daze. We're going through the days of the weak so that we can be weakened. We're working. We were a king, but now we're working. Past tense, we were powerful. We were a king. We're
Yeah.
working during the weekdays so we can be weakened to get to the weekend where we're weakened, in a weakened state, so
Wow.
we can just be further depleted and then go back into the work week and get weakened again. So it's everywhere, man. It's deeply imprinted into our language. Our language is a slave language, but if we begin to get in touch with some of these ancient sounds, this is why chants are very powerful. Mantras are very powerful because they go back to root languages which came from Aryan culture, which preceded all of the cultures of our modern world. The Aryans, who descended from Atlantis, which was the continent that existed before our modern age, where they were tapped into sexual energy. They were tapped into sexual energy, which is just another word for cosmic energy, right? They learned how to harness that energy to create all kinds of machines and power their civilization. It was powered off sexual energy, off cosmic energy. But because they got corrupted by the dark ones, the black magicians, who began wanting to steal the energy off others and dominate others, take others' energy, because they were releasing their own god force, they were releasing their seed, and they fell into the dark side. So then they started trying to steal that power from others, because once you start releasing, you have to get the energy externally. You no longer have the cosmic energy within you. You have to take it. And so that civilization fell, and their descendants, the Aryan race, spread across the entire world, of which we have today, Europe, Africa, Asia. And we have the inheritance of their ancient language. Sanskrit came from Aryan. It was an Aryan-based language. The European languages, they all came from the Aryan root. That's why we have similar words, like in India, and we have similar words, similar sounds in the West, like mother, mata. That's where we get the word matrix from. That's a common root. Same with padre, papa, padra. Similar root, similar Aryan root. It all comes from the same ancient language. So if we can begin to get back to these ancient ways, ancient sounds, we can cut through so much of this illusion that we're living under right now, so much of these spells that we're being programmed by. I had an interesting conversation with a brother around the fire the other night at the fire circle, and he started showing me this. He started showing me this Kali invoking mantra, and he starts doing this mantra, and it's just like I could actually feel this energy of this strong, powerful feminine energy starting to come in as he was chanting this mantra. And I was just blown away, because there it is again. It's like just the sheer vibration. If we can tap into the vibration of what we want to create and make the sound of that, we're going to start to see our whole reality shift. So that was just a big download. Felt to share that. But yeah, bro, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's you reminded me of as you were saying about how you when you speak it out loud, like it resonates through basically the fabric of existence, and it's like it's one thing to think it, but to actually say it out loud. And what it reminded me of is like the more the more power you put behind it, as you whatever mantra it is, the more it is. I guess the more effect it has. And so like I think my first experience with like really knowing was a while ago. Maybe it was around the time I started. I bought a course on manifesting. I don't and what it really was, it wasn't really a course on manifesting. It was a course on how to know something that you do not have like physical evidence to support in your reality. Like so when I bought this, initially, like he goes through the steps, and he's very clear that like you have to do all these things to the T, or this is not going to work. And there's a reason he said that, is because like most people don't do that, and I was one of them. So at first, what he said I knew was true. I went through the things, and that's where I really learned, like I guess the power of why the vocabulary is so important. But eventually, I had an opportunity where I had about a week to not work, and I spent all of my time on it. And I literally the only thing I was doing to make money was like driving around delivering food. And while I was driving, there was a phrase I would say, or there was a couple phrases I would say, but the first one that I would say is everything everything is how to I always get what I want easily and effortlessly now. All right. I would say that I probably said that 3,000 times, but I didn't just say it like that. I was screaming at the top of my lungs driving around to the point where like people that I'm passing in their cars are like, what the fuck is this dude doing? Right. And when you do that, what I like late maybe towards the end of the week, but what I had decided I wanted to win the lottery, right? Because I mean, who wouldn't want to fix all your money problems immediately? Um, and I went on a walk after like not I wasn't screaming on the walk, but like this is after a bit like a week of screaming this, writing this into my unconscious, and on the walk I just started like basically daydreaming, but I imagined that the creator of the course, I imagined myself filming a video to him saying, "I did it. You know, I followed your instructions. I won the lottery." And as I was doing this, this feeling of just like the how it would actually feel to win the lottery, like all of your financial troubles just evaporate. Like I was bawling, you know? And in that moment where I knew for a fact that I won, this is where I learned about like you're gonna be magnetized. Like I could not stop myself from going and buying that lottery ticket. Like and there were several like obstacles in the way, and it was like instead of like finding the obstacles as like discouraging, they were actually just hilarious. Like this is perfect. This is just like something to overcome. And I just kept going, and I bought the ticket. And up to the moment that I scratched it off, I was certain. And then I watched the numbers, and it was not. I did not win, right? But yeah, but like in the course, the point is when you are in that knowing, that's when you act on these things, because that's when they're going to happen. And he clearly laid out like this is probably not going to happen on your first go. You have to keep doing this over and over. And at that time, I was living with my ex, and I was kind of telling her about this, and she was like, "Mate, this is a crazy idea." And in that moment, it was just like all of that knowing evaporated, and I knew like, oh, okay, I have to get away from this girl. But even though I didn't win the lottery, right, I kind of still did, because in that moment I realized like I can manipulate reality. I can manipulate my mind by just saying things. So why would I ever like all the things I say that I don't want to be true? I need to stop saying them right now and just say the opposite, and
Mm.
with some volume, like I really mean it, and that's yeah, that's I mean that was I think in that way like I haven't tried to win the lottery again in that way. I haven't really felt like called to do that, but I feel like that lesson was that that's gonna pay more than that lottery ticket ever would have.
We are creators. What do you think holds you back from going all out with your creative power?
Sometimes I think it's like a fear of how it's going to affect other people, because I do believe like if I if I make a decision and I act on it, it's going to happen. Kind of like oth- other people's circumstances are going to move out of my way because I've stepped into that, or I'm going to step into the reality where that happens. However you want to phrase that. So I think it's the mind. Um, ultimately, I think it's fear because it doesn't. It's trying to comprehend like how this is going to happen, but the how is kind of irrelevant. That's it's the no. Like if you can just hold the knowing, that the how just you don't need to define it.
So it's fear of having a negative impact on others. Is that it?
Some of it, I think it's mostly just a fear of like how it's going to happen. Just like I
Fear of
guess just
how it's going to happen.
yeah, just like
Uncertain.
uncertainty.
Because I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, when you're asking me right now, I know it wouldn't go wrong. I think things would happen probably well for everyone.
So it's an unknown fear of an
It's just
unknown.
unknown.
It's just unknown.
Yeah,
So the
well,
fear of the unknown.
yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it.
The fear of the unknown holds us back from stepping into full creative power.
Yeah,
I guess the question is, how long are we willing to be enslaved to the fear of the unknown rather than stepping into full destiny?
yeah. I've been trying to do that in baby steps to like wash that fear away. Like just find the things. I mean, that's why I choose the words so specifically now because I am able to like see these small changes in my life every day, and then eventually, I guess it's like slowly building that trust and proving to myself that like yes, I know I'm the creator, but like here's evidence, so the identity starts to like shift into that.
That fear of the unknown, can you actually feel that right now?
Yeah, again,
What does it feel like to you?
anxiety, kind of like my there's pressure in my head.
Where in your head? Okay, so whereabouts, the top of your head, or
Um, yeah, like the top of my head. It's almost like my heart's like when I think about it, my heart starts pounding, and I can feel like the rhythm of that in the top of my head, like my blood
can you
pressure's going up.
can you welcome that in full intensity right now on this live call?
I can, yeah, let's do it. What I'm thinking about to trigger it is recently I've been thinking about just like quitting my job, and that's that uncertainty, and I feel that's the right decision. But
Is that pressure getting more intense?
yeah, thinking about calling my boss.
You should do it right now on the live call.
I mean, I do have two phones. I could we could make that happen. He doesn't work today. That's
Yeah, so
excuse.
can you feel that feeling of what's going to happen when you call your boss and you quit your job?
Yeah, well, I know I'm going to argue not to put in a 2 weeks, so I could feel the dissatisfaction with him. Like why are you putting me in this position, kind of thing. Although, like recently, with all this SR, like as you described, like like being assertive, like I feel like that wouldn't impact me very much. Yeah, like normally I'm very averse to confrontation, but the SR definitely is making that like I don't really care, like I guess it's mostly an uncertainty of like how do I continue paying rent. I don't want to grenade that. I just got here, you know.
How does that feel?
Mm. I feel like I know what avenue I would try first.
What one?
I have a pickup truck, so I'd probably start like a junk removal business. Put an ad up.
How does that feel?
Um, I feel like it would work. I just don't know how much money would come in.
How does that feel?
Mm, I guess that's
Physical physical sensations in your body.
that's definitely. I guess that's an area where the anxiety comes up, the uncertainty.
Where do you feel that right now?
Um, the pulsing and the heartbeat.
Go full intensity? Like you really don't know how the money's going to come in?
I'm gonna think of on the brink of not doing it, not making it.
Just welcoming that full anxiety attack.
I'm feeling more inclined to do it right now.
What about the anxiety?
It's calming down. It's slowing down. It feels like it's at the level where you just push, you just walk right through it.
So we've gone from fear of unknown, talking about stepping into your full power, to facing that, which is another way of saying letting go of that, facing it, allowing yourself to feel the fear of the unknown. That's brought you to clarity of what you want to do. Start your own business, quit your job. And as we continue feeling, allowing yourself to feel, that's what letting go is, allowing yourself to feel. You've now come to a point where the anxiety is low enough to where you actually feel ready to just step out and do it.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted the other brothers to see. This is the power of letting go.
I think I have a phone call to make tomorrow.
Fuck yeah. Well, let's wrap it up there. I think that was pretty potent. But I hope you guys can all see the power of stopping this wastage of your sexual energy. For step one, stop wasting your sexual energy. Let the energy build up. Then you're going to start feeling enough power to make some changes in your life. But then you need to learn how to handle that power through transmutation practices such as letting go, grounding, breath work, taking a huge mushy trip every now and again,
Yeah.
eating raw beef. You know, you need to start. You can't just stopping jerking off isn't enough. You need to start bringing in all these practices that support you. And the most powerful, in my personal opinion, would be letting go. Starting to allow yourself to feel all of the energy inside of you, and not trying to get rid of the energy, escape from the energy, because it gets intense, gets very uncomfortable, but you need to let yourself feel it. That's where your real power starts coming in. The kind of power where you can actually go to your boss, quit your job, or renegotiate a higher salary, depending on what you feel. That's what the kind of power where you can just walk straight up to that hot as fuck woman and just take her, whatever it may be for you. The power will get to that point, but you need to know how to handle it. You need to be able to master your emotions, and letting go will help you do that. Simply becoming familiar with them, feeling them, allowing the energy to flow through you. The more you let it flow through you, the more accustomed you get to it, and the more you're able to direct it where you choose.
Amen.
Amen. Do you want to do a quick shout out for the Sons of God, since you're a member and also an affiliate? I might have to put
Yeah.
your affiliate link on this video.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the Sons of God is. I mean, I can't even believe the changes it's made. You know, I mean, I started the God mode when I joined, which makes it really easy to track, and that I don't have to think about it. Like I just go back and check the date. But I mean, I joined and it's like immediately talking to you, talking to the other brothers. It's as I said, it's become easy and effortless to just there's so many tools to lean on now. You know, I definitely could not recommend it enough.
Relapse. There's just too many dudes in your periphery now who aren't relapsing, and you're just like, nah, fuck that. I'm not gonna fall out of synchronous. I'm not gonna fall out of resonance with all these guys that I've started connecting with. I'm gonna keep walking the journey with these guys.
Yeah. Well, it's like I can't, I don't want to I don't want to witness myself tell them that I relapsed. Because I know, like, sometimes when others relapse, like, I kind of like that weighs on me a little bit. So I'm sure that kind of weighs on other people too. I don't want to be the reason that somebody, is feeling less strong,
Yeah, that's the power of groups. That's the power that Napoleon Hill talks about in the laws of success, having a mastermind. One of the laws of success, coming from the guy who wrote the book, The Laws of Success, who studied hundreds of not just successful people by today's standards, he studied tycoons, like the bosses of the bosses, the industrialists, the guys who built America. He studied and interviewed those guys personally. And a common theme they all said was, you must have a mastermind. You must have a group of people who you're accountable to, that you are in connection with, that you meet with regularly, who you discuss your plans with, and you can get feedback from people who are on the same journey as you or even more successful than you. You must be connected to a mastermind. It's the law of success. So that's what I see Sons of God is. We are a mastermind for brothers who want to break free of lust and step into their full power.
Yes. I also, among these sites that I saw on the Mushy trip, I think the sons of God are going to inherit the earth. I think, I mean, you hear that in religious teachings, but I don't think it's a coincidence that this group is called the Sons of God. You know, and we're headed on that path where the raw meat and the SR, as you mentioned, like we're going to be alive for longer than we are being told. Time is time is it's kind of bullshit. Even the way that you described, the week, working and all this wordplay, like they give us a calendar, like you don't really need a calendar. I mean, if I could drop all that shit today, I could, but I mean, once I start the business, I can kind of forget that, like I don't have to operate by other people's standards.
Freedom. Freedom!
Yes.
All right, brother. Well, good luck with the new business.
Appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to seeing that pickup truck, photo of you and popping a bottle of champagne all over it.
Yeah, dude, I'll send a picture with some junk in the back.
Awesome, bro. All right, guys. Well, much love. Make sure you give Gavin a subscribe. He's got his own channel. I'll drop his link below, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cool. Peace out, guys.